Hello, and welcome to the God of Asian podcast. I'm Carol Gehring. I've said this many times before, I'm going to say it again. Live and learn, right? Sometimes it takes time, and I personally have learned over the years, and I'm still learning, that if I get headed in the wrong direction, the Holy Spirit will send a red flag in my spirit, a check, to get my attention and to warn me. Well, it might mean slow down, or watch out and be careful, or don't go any further. Stop. He is so faithful. If I'm getting ahead of God in something or I get out of line with His alignment, there's usually something that I cannot see with my natural eyes. God will do His best to warn me. One of the first times I remembered something like this happening in my life was when I was about 15 years old. My dad was driving us home from church, and I kept seeing, like daydreaming, um, flashing lights, police cars, ambulances. And I kept saying, Dad, do you see those? He said, No, I don't. I said, Dad, please, do you see them? He says, I don't. I said, Dad, please, please slow down. And because of the urgency in my voice, he did. And you know what? We were the first ones on the scene of a head-on collision where a drunk had hit another car and one person was killed, and it was a very bad accident. But God had spared us. And that's what you call, or what the word calls, a word of knowledge. And a word of knowledge is like having a dream, but you're awake and you can see details. And it's very much alive to the person that sees it. And usually it's a warning, or it's to help someone else know that a person's hearing from God when they give details about a situation that they're seeing in their spirit. Well, sometimes I will see a picture on Facebook or Instagram, and the Holy Spirit will speak. Even though I may not even know that person, God will begin to put a check in my spirit. He'll begin to put a warning sign in my spirit. Be careful, watch out, or indicating something is not right here and I don't want you getting involved, things like that. The Holy Spirit is very good about pre-warning, preparing to protect us from something like in that accident. Had my dad not sensed the urgency in my voice and repeated, that could have been us in that accident. But the Holy Spirit protected us, and I'm sure you may have had times like that. Maybe you didn't know it was the Holy Spirit. So many times when this type of thing has happened in my life, I can look back, and had I recognized that warning sign early on, I could have avoided so much disappointment and even pain in my life if I had known. But over time, I've learned. Another example. Some time back, we were buying a car. My husband and I both, we liked it. We even gave it a test drive. We really liked it. But when we got back, we both started to feel a check. We discussed it and decided the Holy Spirit was checking us not to buy this car, so we didn't. I don't know if there's anything wrong with that car or if there was something wrong with that car per se, but later we actually found one that we liked better and we both had a piece, so we bought it. It's things like that that the Holy Spirit will check on us. It's very important. So we have to learn to listen and obey. So when you feel those hesitations and checks and kind of red flags in your spirit, you will save yourself a lot of trouble and heartache and disappointment if you learn to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. Maybe you're feeling some right now about a job, or maybe a car that you're wanting to buy, or a house, or a trip that you're wanting to take. Whatever it is, listen to the Holy Spirit, because He can see ahead way more than we can. And John 14:13 says, When the Spirit of the truth comes, He will guide you into all truth, for He will not speak on His own authority. He will speak only what He hears, and He'll tell you what is yet to come. So the Holy Spirit always has your best interest at hand. So learn to listen, respond, and obey. And you'll know it. You'll sense it. You'll know that check in your spirit. So that's the lesson for today. And I pray that you will begin to become sensitive to it and learn it and obey and follow what God is saying in your heart and in your life. And until our next podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to God Invasion. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with someone who needs to hear about the power of God's transforming love. When God invades our lives, we can release a global revival, because together we can make a difference.